Good afternoon, everybody. I'm very, very happy to be here to support my friend Joseph Lau for hosting this very, very good candidate meet and greet event. And my name is Cynthia Lai. I'm running for Ward 23 Scarborough North, one of the two very lucky ridings that don't have an incumbent. And I'm working hard at it, but I enjoy the process, and I wanted to tell you that the reason I'm running is because my 3 tenets in life is work hard, live well, and give back. And I really wanted to bring the experience that matters to City Hall to fight for Scarborough, which has been neglected for the past 15 years. And my platforms are very, very simple, 3 of them. Number 1 is community safety. We've seen so many gun violences recently, and I think it is very unacceptable. And I wanted to make sure Toronto is the safe city to live in, to bring up our children. And I hope that we can work with the 3 levels of government to combat gun violence, and I wanted to make sure that youths will not be taking the gang lifestyle, want to spend more money and give more funding to youth for their recreation, for their education, so they would not be being recruited by gangs. I think this is one of the root problems that we have all these gun violence. In terms of safety, I would like to give some safe neighborhood watches, maybe using social media, and we need to really, all the neighbors need to be working together to ensure a safe neighborhood. The next platform that I'm running and I'm standing for is respecting and caring for our seniors. Our seniors is so deserved for us to be respected, and because they work so hard in their life, and now is their golden years, I wanted to make sure their quality of life is good. In working with the Minister of Seniors, Dr. Raymond Cho, MPP, I'd like to ask for more funding for seniors, and so we can make sure that we have more programs for seniors, so we'll get them out of the house. The other thing I will advocate for is fight for the free TTC for seniors, which is very, very important, because you got to get the seniors out of the house so that they can enjoy life and so that they can be more healthy. The third thing about the seniors is I wanted to, when I get elected, I wanted to make sure the youth will respect the seniors. My office will be the conduit and the bridge for the youth to visit seniors so that they learn how to respect seniors. And the last platform I'm running is Shepherd Subway. Toronto has the worst commute time in some of those big cities we call, and we wanted to make sure that the subway is built into Scarborough. And when I elected, I bring energy, I bring fresh ideas, and I have the experience that matters to represent the ward in Scarborough, Ward 23. Thank you so much. I hope everybody will vote for me.
As I know that municipal government knows normally work with the developer for land development condo houses. Right? How you avoid conflict of interest when you are sitting in the council?
Well, conflict of interest is very, very easy. I just declare and dispose if I have a conflict. And I must, like I said, my name stands for loyalty and integrity. I think the utmost importance that I don't compromise my name with all these development. But I think we need to, actually, Toronto needs to stay out of the third world countries. We need to be I think we need to improve, we need to change, and we need to build more sustainable and progressive neighborhoods and development. I think, I need to, with my expertise, I think I would be able to bring the balance of different developments, whether it's good or not. I think I would have the expertise to make the right decision for Toronto to move forward.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm very, very happy to
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Joseph, for organizing this wonderful event. And my name is Howard Shen, or Susan Hao. I'm running for running for city councillors in Markham, representing Ward 8. And I live in Ward 8 myself, and have been serving the communities in the past 18 years, and serving as president and or in key leadership positions in different organizations, including CPAC or Gentry International Business Association or Real Estate Professional Association for Canada. And well, I'm an accountant. You know, my training and my background always tell me that I'm the guy to help people save the taxes and have better financial management. Of course, one of the reasons I'm running for city council is that I wanted to keep the tax low, and also at the same time bring my experience and background training to the city to better manage the financials and budgets. I have served the community for a long time. I've also, in the past 3 months, I've been canvassing every corners of Ward 8, and people are telling me the community needs more help, needs more services. I think some of them felt they were very much left out. For instance, Leechcraft community, they are about 15 condos, and more condos are being built. However, there is no community centers for people, for seniors to go to, for activities, for young families with kids to go to. So if I'm elected, I want to champion for a community hub in Leechcraft community with spaces for seniors and daycare centers and spaces for kids for different activities. And of course, I wanted to make Markham Ward 8 more livable communities by press for improved enforcement of bylaws and also traffic regulations to make the community a better place to live. And of course, I, as an accountant, always champion for responsible economic development and residential development. I would like to, press for improvements in the Milliken Center secondary plan to showcase, to build a pedestrian-centric living place for the neighborhood. And of course, we'd like to showcase our small businesses to have the business improvement areas. Of course, I will also champion for more municipal services, including to renegotiate a contract, a snow removal contract, to include the removal of windrows. Of course, there are a whole bunch of things that we need to discuss, to fund, to cost it out. And again, as accountants, we need to manage the finance. I want to use my experience and background to find more funds and also try to reallocate certain resources to make sure this happens, because I do not believe this should be a burden for seniors, even though we do have a program for seniors. But a lot of seniors simply give up because of the complicated process, as well as only half of the windows were removed. So I would like to also champion for a safer community by creating a neighborhood network using modern technology such as Facebook or WhatsApp, to make sure that our community is safer for kids, our community is safer for seniors and for everybody. And I strongly recommend that everybody should vote and to have their best choice and vote for Howard Shen for Ward 8. 选沈浩，让万景更好。谢谢。
You are a very famous accountant. You do both really well. Accountant, we do accounting activities, but we don't create revenue. We don't create asset. So how could only business people can create all this? Do you think you are good business people while we can create, or when there's a limited resource, how do you relocate resources?
Yes, of course, I'm an accountant, always help people to reduce taxes. That's wonderful, but also I'm a very well-established businessman because I've been chairing quite a few business chambers. So a lot of things that we do is help people, help businesses to find more markets, to find more, to generate more revenues. And of course, I think in the city, as we mentioned previously by some of the councillors, regional councillors, I think we need to find more resources from different level of governments, and there are resources that we can get from other government regions, or even other areas, for instance, mentorings for certain programs. And I think, we need to save as well. A lot of cases, a lot of projects, I think we need to do a better job by studying whether we can save certain budgets, save certain resources, so that with all the money that we save, we can reallocate those money saved to services that are needed the most. That's what I would do. Thank you very much.
I'm currently the regional councillor and deputy mayor for the city of Markham, and I'm running for re-election as regional councillor. I'm so pleased to be here today to remind people to cast your vote. That's how the democracy of Canada works. It doesn't work by you saying, well, he or she got elected. It works when you say, I helped them get elected, or I made my own decision, and I cast my vote, and I went out and tried to get my selection elected. But I'm quite pleased that we've had the election, and even though they didn't win, or they did win, this is how Canada works. So I say to everybody, cast your vote. There's a couple things I've been talking about during this election here in Markham, and one of them, of course, is taxes. Property taxes, I think, can be onerous on occasion, and trying to make sure that they stay down, that they don't increase too much, is very important, both at the Markham level and at the regional council level. So I work on that. I've been on the budget committee for every year I've been elected, and I plan to be so in the future, and that's one of my goals, to make sure that any increases are small, at least below inflation, and we'll see when we get into the next budget. One of the other things I work on is traffic. We all know that the #1 issue in Markham is traffic, the #2 issue in Markham is traffic, and the #3 issue in Markham is traffic. We hear about it, any candidate hears about it all the time. And one of the things I think is really important, we're going to have to find out how to solve the traffic issues on our larger roads like 16th Avenue. One of the things I'm looking at and have raised at Regional Council are alternating lanes like Jarvis Street downtown. I think 3 going west in the morning and 3 going east in the evening might work. We also have to improve transit. We have to bring that young subway up to Highway 7 as soon as we can, and we have to continue with the Viva line. Another thing that people ask me about, and they ask me about cannabis. I'm not in favor of the sale of cannabis in retail stores in Markham. I never have been. I voted against it at council, and I'll continue to be opposed to that. I think we should be talking about safety for our children, and I don't think the sale of cannabis in retail stores is the safe way to handle the product. So those are the things I'm running on. There are many others. If you contact me at jackheathcampaign@rogers.com, you'll get my full long list of things I'm working on so far right now as deputy mayor and regional councillor, and what I'll be working on in the future. And so feel free, jackheathcampaign@rogers.com. Feel free to contact that, and I'll send you the full long list. But in the meantime, remember to vote on October 22nd or in the advance polls. Your vote is very important, so cast your vote on October 22nd. Thank you very much.
Jeff, you just mentioned the budgeting is one of the most important things in your running for the regional council, right? So I understand that the residents, we always ask for more service, but the income from it's limited. I mean, the source of income is limited. How can you do that?
We chair Markham District Energy, and we pay into Markham $3.5 million in dividends annually. And Markham also owns 16% of Electra, the power company, and they produce dividends in the $9 to $10 million. I think we should be looking at more investments at both the Markham Council and at York Region in order to produce more revenue. We can't raise taxes enough to provide all the services people ask for. Just before I got here, someone talked about windrows, that is removing the snow from the driveway at the bottom of people's driveway. I like that program, but it would probably cost $3 to $4 million more than we have now in the budget. So, and I've tried to find ways to cost it. But if we can get revenues that aren't only from property taxes, then we can probably afford more of those kinds of services. And that's something I've been working on in the past, and it's something I'll continue to work on.
Yeah, I think that's a solution. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you very much.
It takes a lot of work, a lot of energy, a lot of time to run an election. Guess what? I am a mom with 2 small children. I was raised in Canada from 5 years old. First immigrant family. All my brother and sister are older than me. They never got a chance to go to school because they're older, had to go to work. I was so young. I was only 5 or 6 years old. My family said, "You have to学校. You have no choice. Nobody will hire you." So I went to school. The first one in my family to graduate with university degrees, 2 university degrees. First one in my family to have a good job that I can help take care of my family and my relatives. And that's what we do, take care of each other. And I've been instilled that lessons from my family from a very young age to always help each other and give back. And that's what I'm doing. Ever since I quit working in IT as a senior project manager to raise my family, look after my kids, I've always volunteered and give back. I volunteered at school for over 6 years, being school council co-chair. I implement programs that I think are important to children, especially at a young age. Programs that teach kids compassion, empathy, be kind to each other, respect each other. How did I do that? I bring in a beautiful program called Letter of Thanks. That program teaches young kids instead of giving Christmas presents to each other and to the teacher, they write a letter from the heart to thank their teacher or thank their friend. Why I appreciate what you've done for me, and be sincere. That's something we do, and that's something is very impactful for the kids. Another thing I do is very big on having kids advocate for themselves. We have little kids that are being bullied, little kids that have different disability, different disorder. My little girl, 10 years old, born and diagnosed this year at age 10 with Tourette's syndrome. She was bullied in school. She was being treated very harshly, that she felt depressed. She was isolating herself. She didn't want to be around anyone. And she'd come home crying every day. I said to myself, as a mommy, how do I help my kid? What do? I teach her. There's no cure for Tourette's. You need to become stronger. You need to become able to adapt, and you need to help yourself. You have to advocate. What did I do? I asked for permission from the school. Can she do a presentation? And I talked to my daughter, got her to do a presentation in her class, teaching other children about Tourette's syndrome. So the more other kids learn and become aware, the more accepting they are of her and the disability. So this reduces the bullying, reduces the teasing in the classroom. So we've been doing that, not just for her class, but for other classes and other organizations. So now my daughter said to me, Mom, I want to help other children that has a disability and disorder, starting a Tourette's organization called TAV, Tourette's Against Bullying. Once a month, we're going to meet, and we're inviting all families with kids with disability or disorder, and even families who don't share that, and if they want to come and learn more, they can. We're going to meet and to discuss with each other about the differences and the disability and disorder amongst children and what they go through. Share and aware and learn from each other, raise awareness, and help advocate for each other. That's what my little girl wants to do. At 10 years old, she started this club. I'm supporting her. We're sponsored by Markham Public Library to help us. They're going to host us in a facility. As a parent, volunteering, being a soccer coach, hockey manager, and volunteering figure skating club, it's important to give back to the community, important to help out school. I've been doing it for over 6 years. This is nothing new to me, but now I want to help more than just a few schools. I want to help all the schools in my Markham wards 2, 3, and 6, and that's why I want to be school trustee. You need someone that cares about the children and education first, non-political, and just caring from the heart with the passion. And that's why I'm running for school trustee. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for having us today. A lot of you are wondering, what are you doing? Trustee? No change on, right? You don't get a wage, you don't get a salary, but you get an honorarium. $23,000 is what you get. I have 2 university degrees. Why am I doing this? I'm not a political person. I don't want to be an apologist. I don't want to be an MPP or an MP. That means I just want to help. And I've been doing it for over 6 years. Why? Why am I doing it? Why am I running? If you have children in school, do you want someone who cares about your children and education first? Do you want that person to be able to be there for you, committed to your cause? Be the voice that you don't have when you have issues at school or when you have concerns at school. Even as a community member, who are you going to rely on? Someone who is genuinely caring about the community, about the children, and about education? You have to think who it is you're going to vote for. It's not just for this year, it's for 4 years, for long term, and it's for the future. Children are our future, so you need to give them the best chance.
All right, folks, so thank you. First of all, definitely have to thank Joseph for doing this Pastor Bowl, because it's been years now, and I'm really glad that you're bringing more awareness to especially the Chinese community. And I see a lot of Chinese media here, so that's really, really good. And especially, for my background, actually, when you look at my name, Aaron Nadar, a lot of people might think I'm not Chinese, but I'm actually part Chinese, because my mother's Chinese, my father's part Chinese, Indian, Persian, Arabic, and Polynesian. Now, I was born in Hong Kong, so that's why 廣東話咧就 OK 嘅，絕對冇問題嘅。那其實國語的話都還可以的。那很多人會笑我的國語呢，還是香港國語 but I can still get by, right? So I think that's the kind of diversity that Markham is really becoming now. So I think that should be an asset for me to run for a regional council position in Markham. And a lot of people are asking as well, why did I want to get involved in the community and give back? And that is because about 8 years ago, I became a member of the Lions Club. And then being a lion is all about giving back to the community and helping others. And then eventually, as I got more and more involved, I was even a past president of a previous Lions Club I was with. And that's why I'm exploring the opportunity now, hopefully, to give back on an even greater scale. So when you have a chance, please visit my website, which is aaronmadar.ca. But just to give you an idea here, my brochure does have a lot of pictures of how I've been very involved within the community for a number of years. And also some of my platforms are right here. I'll talk about that as well afterwards. And also on my website and on my brochure, you'll see some of the endorsements I have from even former politicians. And because that's what I believe, that you have to work with council, you have to work with the residents, and sometimes you have to even work with different levels of government to get projects done and get projects going. So on some of my main platforms, one of them is infrastructure. Definitely the subway has to go to Highway 7, and I know that we have to work with the provincial government to help to push that. Because part of the reason is, when I came to Canada in 1985, I believe Hong Kong only had about a couple of subway lines. But look at Hong Kong now, it's a grid, much like New York, much like Tokyo. And we do need that, especially if you look at long-term down the road, you do have York University that's coming to downtown Markham, and a lot of kids won't be driving. So that we definitely need. So subway for sure first, so Highway 7, that would be one of the projects I would definitely help to champion and push the provincial government to work with us on. Now, in regards to the winter snowbank cleaning, that is very important as well. As we mentioned, in Markham, you have to apply for it. If you're a senior or disability, then you can try and apply for that snowbank cleaning service. But yet, other cities do offer it. So we have to explore the opportunity of trying to offer that to Markham at a reasonable pace, I guess, and see how much it will cost. And in the past, when I went on business trips, I still remember I would worry. My daughter's at home, my wife is at home, what's going to happen to the snowbank? Who's going to clear it? Now, maintaining safe neighborhoods as well, as we all know now, break-ins are happening more and more frequent. So as a regional councillor, we would have to work even closer with YRP to explore more opportunities, how to maybe have a better neighborhood watch systems, maybe different languages, to get more people involved, to increase the safety for all the residents. And also heritage promotion and preservation. Now, Unionville Main Street is a gem of Markham, and with Unionville, they have some special events sometimes. Jazz festival, exotic car show, but a lot of businesses, though, are blocked off because of these festivals, and the people can't get access to the business sometimes. So what I would push for is maybe once a year, try an event where we close off the whole road and really bring the business back to, give them opportunity to work with local residents and help the small businesses. And if that project goes well, we can try other parts of Markham as well. And also housing. This housing cost is a very key concern for the next generation and also for the seniors as well. So Markham has to look at more different types of housing options, and also low taxes and spending only on what's reasonable and what's necessary. So please, I invite you to check out my website, aaronmadar.ca. Vote Aaron Madar starting this Friday, October 12th to 22nd. You can even do it online. Madar for Markham. Thank you.
No, let's talk about housing. How would you promote affordable rental in Markham?
So I think that's something that we have to look at as in two folds. Because affordable rental would be a very good idea. Now, there is definitely a lot of land that is still available, for example, that whole downtown Markham core. Because part of it is, it's not just about, let's say, building the condos or the apartments. Part of it, too, is the folks have to be able to get access to good transportation as well. Otherwise, you have one, you don't have the other, it's not going to work. So that's something I would definitely explore, and we have to really push those kind of projects, because as I mentioned, the next generation is going to have a hard time, and the seniors who helped to build the country to what it is today now is going to have a tough time as well. So these are different options that I will look at. I can't say it's going to be a magic turnkey solution right away, but that's something that we have to explore as a whole, as the council, the region as well, and see what we can do.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, all the candidates, and how are you doing? First of all, can you round of applause for the organizer, Joe Lau, and his sweetheart, Richard, for organizing this event. Without them, not enough exposure to the community. Okay, Chen, I think is very popular in York region. Why? Because I have been York region, I mean Richmond Hill, for 30 years. And my husband and my family and I really proudly, and also currently I'm the incumbent as a York Region trustee for 8 years, and I'm very proud to be. That's the main reason I would like to move up as a regional councillor. Why? Because I hope, for my observance, and I hope everybody agree with me, is I hope everybody treated education as the highest priority for. Why? Because I promote citizenship education. If everybody do a sense of belonging, take initiative to do good things, and then contribution. That is a collaboration with each government, level of governance. Then we don't worry about the future issues. Okay, for the past years, I have involved a lot of community services, such as I am a Sunday school teacher actually for 25 years, and I work with the like international language from the Regional School Board. And also I respond to the community needs and community children and supported families. Actually, I hope to run this regional councillor position because I have been Richmond Hill for 30 years. For the past years, I always collaborate with different cultures, especially Asian communities, to celebrate the Asian Month celebration. Because for the current decades, you can see half of the residents is Asian or Asian communities. So, but 25% is Chinese. But as everybody understands, this group of communities is underrepresented. That's why it motivated me to run this campaign, and I hope to have a voice for our Asian communities. So here is the 6 areas I hope to through this campaign. I hope everybody agree with and overcome it. Number one is that I would like to build a connected community, one voice, one community, and that means we collaborate together and make a difference. Number 2 is effective public service. So 我希望我们提供这个什么好的服务跟这个能够所谓的affordable housing。第3个我是改善交通 transportation and transit is a huge issue. So 我希望 work hard with the level of governments for a subway from French to Highway 7 is a must, but let's work harder together. It's a very beginning, but we have focused on it. And then we have improve our regional economy. So I hope we have a high technology services and business available at Richmond Hill. Now the taxes for the current 10 years is so high, but what is beneficial to our community is seems not too much, like our neighbor cities are already developed very fast. So I hope we will have a more high technology service, like a university campus will be available in Richmond Hill. Next one will be promote the community health and social service, such as mental health. I'm very familiar with the issues, so I hope everybody how to motivate our new generation, be positive, be resilient to overcome their challenges. Last but not least is the community safety. So cannabis issue, I'm proud to have our city have a confirmation law allow for the retail at Richmond Hill. So I really echo this. I hope let's collaborate together, make a difference with one community. And if I'm elected, I'm the first female minority representing Richmond Hill, York Region. So
your neighbor Toronto, when they have people support you financially, they get a rebate. Why Richmond Hill don't have? How you see this? How are you going to change it?
Okay, that's a very good question, Mr. Lam. I really support this question. I keep asking because this is my 3rd election. I keep asking my mayor, why it's not fair for the candidates? But the answer always is yes. You know, the debate amount, I mean, the expenses is go through by the taxpayers. Let's be fair. This is your election, not the taxpayers. That's why don't bother the taxpayer. But of course, if for candidates, how to motivate more people enjoy the election as a role model, like how to respond to the election, like different levels of election. And then support is very important. That's why if I were elected, I must fight for this. Next term, that should be the same as my city, I mean sister cities like Markham and Vaughan, they cannot be back. Agree? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.